Hi everyone, in this video we're going to talk about post-workout crashes. If you're getting sleepy post-workout, what might be going on. We're going to talk about possible causes, possible solutions, what things to get looked at, and I'm going to share my own experience. Of course, I'm not like a doctor. If you see me looking down, it's because I have bullet points, so I stay on topic. Of course, this is not medical advice. Everyone may be different, but this is what it can feel like to crash post-workout. One thing is maybe you went on a run and you feel a little tired, but no, I'm talking about complete exhaustion. I need to pass out, and when I pass out, I am glued, I cannot move, and I sleep for 3 hours, 2 hours, okay? What it can look like for myself, I was getting sleepy during my workouts, but because I was working out at 5 in the morning, I just thought, oh, I'm not awake yet. And I'd start getting really sleepy during my workout. I just kept yawning and yawning. And then when I would drive home from the gym, which took about 20 minutes, I would start thinking about sleeping, and that's all I can think of. And my drive there is I can't wait to sleep. I just need a nap. I just need to sleep. And then I get to my place, and it wasn't the bed, it wasn't the couch. I had to sleep on the floor, on my rug. And then another possible thing that can happen is getting really, really cold. So I'd start yawning a lot, followed by getting really, really cold. And I had a heater on. I'm like, what's going on? Whatever. So I'll show you guys exactly how. The same position, on my floor, blanket, cozy. And then I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna take a little nap. I feel so exhausted, even though I slept 8 hours the night prior. This is exactly how I would crash, guys. And I did some research on why I didn't want to sleep on the couch. I didn't want to sleep on the bed. I had to sleep on the floor. And it's because when your body wants to go into in that parasympathetic state, that rest state, the ground is like an even distribution on your body, and it just feels grounded. It feels safe. So I would get right here, get my pillow, the mind frame. I'd get my pillow, and then it was always the same position, and I was always like this. And it's like naturally my body, I always slept in the same position. Why? It's like just wants to be held. And yeah, I'd end up like this for 2 hours, 3 hours. Sometimes it'd be 2 hours, wake up, snack on something, and then fall asleep for another 2 hours. And it was always like that. Or if it wasn't like this, I would get the blanket and just curl like that. So listen to your body, guys. Listen to your body. That's not happening anymore. It's a huge win. I hope this helps. So if you're sleeping enough the night before and then you're still needing to sleep 3 additional hours, that doesn't make any sense. So that's one thing that, from my experience, that's what it looked like. Other ways you may feel besides feeling exhausted, maybe you're getting lightheaded. For myself, that would happen, but not as intense as the exhaustion and getting really cold. And now looking back, right, it's your body trying to tell you something, your body trying to communicate, and we just sometimes ignore it, which in my case I did. Now, some possible reasons why you may be crashing, why you may be getting sleepy, extremely fatigued after your workout, is maybe you're dehydrated, not enough salt, not enough carbs before your workout. Maybe you're just not eating enough calories as is, just on a daily basis. Maybe you haven't slept enough. Are you stressed out? Is your nervous system overwhelmed? These are some possible reasons, and again, I'm not giving you medical advice. Some other reasons are maybe you're not having enough electrolytes, especially if your sessions are intense and you're sweating, or maybe you're pushing too the intensity too fast, right? Like you want to progressively overload in your training, but maybe you're pushing it a little bit too fast. Those are some possible reasons. Now I'm going to go a little bit into my experience, because I was crashing really hard after my workouts and I didn't realize it until it started to get worse. Myself, I've been training since I was 24, and this is the first time this has ever happened to me to this frequency, at this frequency and this intensity as far as the exhaustion goes. I've never had this happen in my life, and I didn't want to stop working out. I'll share my story to give you a little bit more context. And this is the pattern I saw. Go to the gym, yawning during the workout, driving, all I can think about is sleep, not even food. And if I am thinking about food, it's a Chick-fil-A spicy chicken sandwich, extra ranch. That's all I can think of. Get home, get my blanket. I'm on my rug on the floor, and I would sleep in the same exact position every time. And then it just felt like I was glued to the floor and I can't move. Nothing is going to get me out. And just that feeling of rest, my body was just like soaking it in. And that's what it would be like. Sometimes the crashes were 3 hours, sometimes they were 2. And now looking back, the longer I worked out, the longer the crashes were. The shorter the workout, the shorter the crashes were. It was like almost a perfect ratio thing, which is really interesting now looking back. Something that I even tried to do, because I didn't want to give up on myself and stop working out, was dialing back. So instead of going to the gym 4 days a week, I said, let me go 3 days and see if it helps. It didn't help. Let me eat some carbs before. It didn't help. Let me increase my calories. I mean, I'm sleeping 8 hours a night. I shouldn't be crashing 3 hours. I understand if I'm sleep deprived and I'm running on 3 hours of sleep, yeah, for sure, I can justify it, but that's not the case. I'm consistently eating around 2,000 calories a day. I'm making sure to eat enough carbs. I am having electrolytes. I've had enough sleep. I'm eating nutritious foods. I'm taking my vitamins. Why is this happening, right? So I decided to push back. Then I went to 3 days a week, still crashing. Okay, let me try 2 days. I really don't want to give up on myself. So I did 2 days, still not working. All right, how about 2 days, but I cut the workouts in half. Like I do half the reps, I don't go heavy, still crashing. So at that point, what helped me, and of course these are not instructions, these are ideas. Everyone is different, guys. Everyone is different. I was going through a lot before this, and a lot of stress, and already before this, a lot of joint pain. I'll go more into that in a little bit, but you can try that out. You can try, maybe you're not eating enough calories, are you dehydrated, all those things, eating carbs before, you're not feeding yourself, you're not resting in between. And none of those things worked for me. None of those things. So what did I do? I said, all right, well, cutting back the days is not doing anything. How about I take a week off? I took a week off the gym completely, even activity outside of the gym, like walking or cardio. I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to do shit for a week. This is really hard, but let's see what happens when I go back. I went back, I still crashed. Still crashed. So at that point, I was like, all right, it sounds like I'm going to need more rest. And that's where I started doing yoga. I know the symptoms sound scary, and what I encourage you to do, and this is what I did, is I went to the doctor. I got some labs because I've never experienced this in my life, and all my labs were normal. And the doctor said, it's honestly tied to your emotions because you're going through grief, and when you go through grief, your body, there's a lot of surges of adrenaline, and around that time, it was kind of when everything that happened hit me, because there was a delay. It's like my mom passed away, I was numb for a little bit, or not numb, but like disassociated as a way to cope naturally. I wasn't trying to disassociate. It was just kind of something that happened. And then 2 months after she passed away, it all hit me. And then I would have these super intense sessions of crying for like 2 hours. And what that does to your body, even if you're eating enough calories, like 1900, 2000 calories, all those really intense crying sessions were just sending surges of adrenaline to my body, increasing cortisol. And now what am I doing? Now I'm doing an activity that is also increasing all that. So then I'm kind of like at a negative, and I guess that's why I was crashing. So give you an example of how bad this got. Like one day I'm at the gym and I said, you know what? I'm going to take it easy today. Let me just walk on the treadmill. I'm just going to walk. I'm not going to lift weights. I'm just going to walk. And for myself, my grief symptoms have been in my joints ever since, even a month before my mom passed away. What was happening is I started having a lot of trouble with grip. I just started having, it's very specific, like these bones right here, my wrist, my forearms. I just had so much pain. And it was all inflammation from all the crying and the intense sessions. And then one day I'm on the treadmill at the gym, and the toes, the joints of my toes hurt. Like it felt like I was breaking my toe joints just from walking. And that's when I said, all right, Christina, we got to slow this down. We got to go to the doctor. And sure enough, labs completely normal. So I think, guys, we got to know when to slow down. We have to know when to listen to our body and what the body wants. And it's hard, especially when you feel like that's the only thing you have control of, because that's what it also was for me. I felt so out of control with everything that was going on. And of course, working out and nutrition is something I can control, and especially being in the gym. So for me, that was something very positive for me, for my mental health. But now looking back, I wasn't making any progress whatsoever. It didn't matter if I went to 2,500 calories, I'm sleeping 8 hours a night, I'm taking all my vitamins, I'm eating healthy foods. Now looking back, my body was just like, nope. It's just not. I would go to the gym and I was not progressing. I was stagnant, and I didn't realize it until after. Now looking back, I would try to increase the weight and I just didn't have the strength in me. In fact, every time I went to work out, I felt like I was wrecking my body. It wasn't something that felt good after. When you go to the gym and you just have a really good workout session and you walk out feeling amazing, I would walk out feeling like, oh my God, I just beat up my body. And that was a way of my body saying, hey, I need some rest. And even doing like a leg press, my knees, even my toes would hurt. If I was doing lat pull downs, even the motion of doing that, my elbows felt like they were just being snatched out, and my shoulder, I couldn't barely grip the bar, and it's just a lot of physical pain. So it's not that your body is failing you. It maybe for you it's different, and you just need to eat a little bit more food, you need to sleep a little bit more, hydrate yourself. But for me, I did all those things and it still wasn't helping. So it's not that my body was failing me. It's not that I was weak, and I felt very weak, and I felt very, very frustrated and even discouraged. But what did it mean? It meant I need some full rest. I need recovery. I've been grieving, my body hurts, and now you're just giving me more and giving me more. So I felt like my body was already at a net negative with all the energy, emotional energy that it was going under, and now I'm adding working out on top of it. So what did I do? And what can you do, right? So some signs early on that I think my body was already sending me and I was ignoring. One of the big ones was I was really dizzy. I mean, I've struggled with vertigo on and off since 2023. Most of 2023, I had vertigo, and that's when my stress started, I would say. But I had it for 2023 and then it went away. And then I was going through, last year was really hard, 2025. Then when my mom passed away, I was really dizzy 3 months after she passed away. And I was dizzy every single day, all day. And that, it's not funny, right? It's how I'm like coping with all this. Not looking back, it's like I was dizzy all day. That creates exhaustion. If you've ever felt vertigo, if you've ever felt dizzy all day, that within itself makes it hard to focus. It makes it hard to make decisions. Makes it hard to think. And that adds a lot of fatigue to the body because your body's constantly trying to recalibrate. And you add working out on top of that, and then you add emotional stress on top of that. No wonder, right? So my dizziness intensified and it just went on for 3 months straight. And then it started to go away. But then when the dizziness started to go away, I started having the joint pain again, because I had the joint pain again back probably the last month that I was caregiving. And then, the funeral happened. I had all the intense dizziness. Dizziness goes away, but now I have the joint pain. So for myself, now looking back, my body was like giving me all those signs, and I just kept wanting to keep going and not give up on myself. So what I want to say is all these signs don't mean that you're weak. It just means your body wants a lot of rest and support. Especially for me, it was my nervous system. And another thing looking back is the gym I go to is super loud. The music is super, super loud. And then I had my music before I stopped using my phone, because I don't work out with music anymore. I just work out without my phone. But before that, it's like we're so overstimulated. It's like starting the day with maybe a little bit of caffeine, listening to music, the music in the gym, and it's just like the body is so overloaded. It may not be like this for you, or maybe it is. And this is a little wake-up call, like, hey, maybe you do need rest. And for yourself, maybe possible solutions, right, are all those things like, hey, am I hydrated? Am I sleeping? All those that I mentioned earlier. But in addition to that is maybe I need to back off the intensity. Maybe I went intense too soon, too fast, and my body's not recovering from that intensity. And maybe your solution will be going from 4 days to 3 days, and that will work, and that's great. But for myself, let me tell you what the solution was. I stopped moving completely, guys, like completely, because everyone's going to be different. And for myself, I felt like I was being lazy for a little bit. It was very, very challenging to just do nothing. I went from trying to go to the gym, then I went 2 days, and I said, all right, fuck it. My body's not responding. Even walking on the treadmill, I feel like my toes are broken. So let me just stop. And I didn't go, and what I started doing is I started doing yoga. I've done yoga before, but at this time in my life, yoga hit completely differently, complete different feeling. So it made me more in tune with my body. Obviously, with the emotions and grief, like I mentioned, my forearms, they just felt so tense. They hurt so bad. Like I was in physical pain every day. And with yoga, it helps release all that tension in your body. And I started doing yoga 3-4 days a week. And even with yoga, I had to be careful because doing certain like plank movements or whatnot, it was a lot on my wrist. So I had to modify that as well. But I started doing yoga and I said, all right, well, this feels weird not doing cardio. There's yelling in the background. Someone's yelling. Pause. So maybe you can try yoga. And what's the benefit of that, guys? Even though all this was unfortunate, I still am able to move my body, right? Another positive is I discovered yoga. And with yoga, I discovered how weak my core is. So now I want to progress with that. And it was also shifting my mindset. I felt so discouraged because I wanted to lift weights so bad, and I could see my body changing. Like my body was starting to get flat. I lost a lot of muscle on my back. I lost muscle on my legs, and that can be gained back really, really fast. But the priority is recovery. And with yoga, I did see how weak my core is. So now I want to work on my core, and I had to shift. Okay, well, let me improve this yoga pose. Let me improve this plank a little bit better. And I'm not thinking about the fact that I can't lift weights. And with cardio, I would do some light walking, and I actually cut back on my steps as well. I was trying to do the typical 10,000 steps a day, and I was doing like 5,000 steps a day. I cut it in half, or some days I didn't walk at all. And it was like my body was just resting, repairing. So all the calories I was eating, I wasn't putting myself at a net negative by the emotional toll that it was taking on me, or added activity. It's like that wasn't enough. I even tried increasing to, like 2,500 calories during my workouts. No, nothing. So what I needed was full rest. Nervous system was really overloaded, and it's been working, guys. It's been working because now I've slowly been able to go back to the gym. And in another video, I'm going to go into that, how I'm going back to the gym as a complete beginner. And for this particular case where there are certain workouts I normally would start with if I was going back to the gym as a beginner, but I'm not because of my current circumstance. The pain is not as severe as it was, but I still wake up with the pain most of the days. It's just not as intense because I have been focusing on recovery. So listen to your body. I know it's hard, especially in this culture where we praise the hustle almost, or going hard and going intense and all these things, but it can also backfire on you. And I feel like that's what happened to me, where I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And then my body just said, hey, fuck you. Like, you're not listening. I want to recover and you're not listening to me. So I'm just going to send you all these signals that are going to force you to recover. And that's exactly what happened. So right now I just tried going back to the gym. I went back to the gym New Year's Eve, and I went back last night, and I was able to, again, the focus is not strength right now. The focus is not intensity. The focus is not crashing after the workout. It's that simple, and I'm taking it so easy and going in with a new sense of gratitude. But listen to your body. Go get blood work. Again, I'm not giving you medical advice, but the blood work ruled out for me really that I needed a lot of rest, and I did feel very frustrated with my body. I felt very out of control with my body for a while because I just wanted to keep pushing and pushing, and it was not giving. So I'm grateful that I have a life in which I can do all these things, where I can say, hey, I want to go to bed at 10 today. I'm going to do that. I can. Cool. I will say I even felt some sort of guilt because I tell myself, I have it so easy. I don't have kids. I don't have a spouse. I have me to take care of. I shouldn't be struggling this bad. And I don't give myself some grace that I went through a really hard situation, 2025, and I still have some trauma from that. And that trauma gets stored in your body. It really does, and it has for myself. And I'm working through it. But I'm just looking at my notes to see if I missed anything. Another possible reason is do you have low blood pressure? My blood pressure was normal, so that wasn't it. Salt intake, nothing worked, guys. I tried all the things. Oh, another thing I didn't mention, I almost forgot, was inflammation. Not only in my joints, but my body looked really inflamed. My body looked inflamed, and that's from increased cortisol. The body is stressed out, it's holding water, and I just didn't feel good, didn't like how I looked. But yes, guys, your body's not failing you. Listen to it. Be honest with yourself. I'm so grateful, and yeah, I guess I'm just grateful and have a new perspective compared to if you've been following me from a few years ago. It's just a complete 180. And I wanted to add here, this is a little, is it on topic, off topic? I don't know. I completely forgot that I have a podcast. Completely forgot I have a podcast, guys. Years ago, I struggled a lot with emotional eating. So I decided to start a podcast about emotional eating. I even had like a group and we like talked about it, and it was such a positive thing. And I also talked about like depression on my podcast. I completely forgot I had it. See, so the other day I uploaded a podcast episode talking about like depression, and I'm gonna keep going because I really enjoy creating content. I enjoy sharing information that can help other people, especially with these topics about anxiety, depression, and working out. I love working out. It's a very positive thing in my life. So I'm going to continue uploading on the podcast. It's called Make Progress, Not Perfection with Christina. It's on Apple Podcast. I don't know if it's on Spotify. I'm not that savvy yet, but I'm going to include it down below. My goal moving forward is to continue talking about the anxiety, the panic attacks and all that, and depression and medication and all those things. But I want to go more in depth on the podcast. So check that out. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. I appreciate all the Happy New Year's comments. Happy New Year's, guys. Yeah, it's the holidays. If I can make it through the holidays, I can make it through anything, because that was rough. That was rough. Today is Saturday. The plan is to go to the library. I love going to the library. It's gonna be a great day. I'm gonna go to the library, edit this video, do yoga later, and just chill, really. But let me know if you found this helpful. The next video, I'm looking forward to it because I'm going to be sharing how I'll be starting in the gym as a complete beginner. And what that made me do was really think about, okay, if I only had to do one exercise for my quads, what would it be? If I only had to do one exercise for my back and I couldn't do anything else, what would that be? Triceps. So it's going to be a really, really simple way to get back into the gym that works. So my goal is to get some muscle put back on, and let me not go into a tangent. I can go into that into another video. I was hoping one of my cats would crawl up on the bed with me, and they didn't, but this is why that sloth is here. Remember to slow down a little bit, guys. Slow down like my sloth. I know hustle culture is like glamorized, but I've learned that that's not, you don't need to go to the gym for 2 hours, okay, to say, oh, killed it. I don't know, all the cool things people say. You can get that done in 40 minutes. That's what I've been doing, but all right. I don't want to ramble too much because I can do that very easily, quickly.